Yo, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of EmpireJeffTV. I am your host, Empire Jeff, coming to you on a Monday afternoon. Thank God it's Monday, right? I said no one ever. But what's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good kickoff to start their week, man. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Dodgers had a solid weekend, taking 2 of 3 from the Redbirds in St. Louis to maintain and somewhat extend that lead in the National League West as we continue down this Major League playoffs pennant race here. Philadelphia lost. That's right. Philadelphia lost again. The Arizona Diamondbacks / Tampa Bay Rays game might have been the wildest, craziest regular season game I've seen in a while. That went to extra innings. Arizona down 6-0. Then they take a 7-6 lead. Tampa Bay comes back, ties it, loads the bases in the bottom of the 11th with no outs, blows that, and then somehow managed to win that game. Just total lunacy in that game. Long story short, Tampa Bay sweeps Arizona. And then the Colorado freaking Rockies take 2 of 3 from the San Diego Fraud Rays and beat them yesterday as well. All the while, the Dodgers took 2 of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals. So, great weekend, great day of baseball yesterday. Great time for the Dodgers to extend a little bit of that lead there for a team that's pretty much depleted with injuries, got all the bad luck in the world. Probably them and the Atlanta Braves have just cursed. Whatever type of witchcraft is affecting these two teams is just bananas. But having said so, the Atlanta Braves are fighting for their wild card lives, and the Dodgers, even with all this on-field problems as far as health is concerned, are still right there in the running for the best record in Major League Baseball, man. So that's incredible considering all those injuries. This team is built on depth. This team has star power, but it has a lot of very solid and good role players as well. And a lot of those guys have carried us through this time where our stars were out. Like I said, Miggy Rose having a great season for what's supposed to be a utility player, right? Gavin Lux has been kind of resurrected since July here. So Kevin Kiermaier gets here as kind of just like a throw-in guy to kind of hold down center field defensively until Edman can get healthy, and they've unlocked him some here. So it's obviously adding Teoscar Hernandez, who's been an RBI machine. And they're able to kind of rise above water here. So shout out to them for after going 2-2 in Milwaukee. They should have took that series 3-1 or even swept them. Should have swept St. Louis, but you can't win them all. Took that series 2-1. And here we are now heading down, getting into the final stretch here of the Major League Baseball season. And the Los Angeles Dodgers lead the San Diego Padres by 3 games, lead the Arizona Diamondbacks by 4 games, and they now have some breathing room here. So shout out to everyone who's tuning in early in the show here. I appreciate y'all, man. Greatly appreciate you. Joe Sorrell, what's going on, man? Says, seriously, Jeff, why are people saying of Kershaw to fall every year? What's going on, Joe, man? You know what, Joe? People decide to be on one side of the street or the other. You choose the negative. I choose the side of just let's wait and see, right? We've seen it before. But I've also seen guys who've been top tier and then blown it. I've seen guys who have been horrible for stretches of years and then figure it out. And I'm going to touch on a couple of different topics here while I believe that Kershaw might be able to give us, a solid start in the playoffs. I think so. He was great yesterday. And again, this wasn't against a top tier team. This was against a team fighting for their wild card lives. I understand this. I understand what's going on. But his last 3 starts outside of that debacle in San Diego, which the entire team has not been able to really perform against San Diego. The Fraudres, I shall say, are 7-3 against us this season. But outside of that, I think it's okay to sit back and say that Kershaw has had a solid return from injury here. He really has. And I understand the narratives. I understand everything. But it is a good return from injury from my standpoint here. So I'm going to touch on a few different things here. Yesterday's game, I felt that, he was a very low pitch count. He wasn't dominant as far as he wasn't blowing guys away. He wasn't out there, with a ton of swing and miss stuff. But Kershaw went in there, man, and he only gave up 4 hits, right? Okay, he went 6 innings, 4 hits. He gave up no earned runs. He walked 1. He only struck out 2. But he put the bullpen in position where they weren't taxed early. And after the game before, when they lost and decided to kind of rest their top guys in the bullpen. And I thought Kershaw had an outstanding game yesterday. He kept that pitch count real low. There were times where Sonny Gray had double the amount of pitches that Kershaw did in that game, in a game that wasn't, a slugfest. It was a 2-1 game in the end. And Kershaw's pitch count was half of what Sonny Gray was for most of that game outside of that first inning. And Kershaw came in, did his thing, performed well, and led the team to victory. And Shohei Ohtani, who seems to only hit home runs, and that is it, sends one out again. And the Dodgers manufactured another one, and they won a grind out game 2-1. So, those are the type of games you might have to, get in the playoffs. Those are the type of games that you're going to have to grind out. And Kershaw grinded those games out. And, shout out to him for doing so. But Joe's never happy, man. Joe's never happy. It's funny, though. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's going on, man? He says, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. BC, what's going on? Thank you for pulling up. Craig, hello to you as well. My brother Court Kings, Chris. Shout out to my brother Chris, man. Appreciate you tuning in as always, brother. Let's see. I think he's having internet problems. I'm not sure what you talk about. Wait, hold on. Who's having it? Me? I'm not sure here. Okay, we might have a troll up in here. I might have to bounce someone out of here. Might have to get someone out of here. Bridges, what's going on? My guy says, I think Kersh can serve a role, but I don't expect 6 innings every 4 to 5 games from him. I think start a game here, there, and a long reliever at times. Good. Gonna need Buehler, Yama, and Bobby healthy. And that's a very good take, Bridges. That's very fair. I think so. But I think, what he gave us yesterday, I would say would be a little bit foolish to count on long term. I agree with you there. I don't even want to say that was a vintage performance. I think it was a vintage performance as far as the amount of innings he gave us. I think about, not giving up the runs. He wasn't blowing people away. He wasn't striking people out. His control was not great. He was missing on a lot of his curves, on his hanging curves especially. But you know what? He got out of every jam, and he got an outrageous amount of ground balls yesterday in that game. The Cardinals could not get the ball in the air on him. Like, he was just keeping the ball in the infield. The defense was backing him up. Ahmed had some good plays. Miggy Rowe had some great plays. Gavin Lux had some solid plays. There was a play that pulled Kike off the bag. Kike is not a normal everyday first baseman. Very, very close play. Didn't end up burning them though, however. And but Kershaw put them in position to win from the outset of that game. And they don't win that game without the performance that he had yesterday. So shout out to Clayton Kershaw, and shout out to him over his last 3 games. He has been extremely solid over his last 3 games, and he has. I mean, if you look at him, when he faced Philly, he gave up 1 run. He faced Milwaukee, he gave up 1 run, and he faced St. Louis, and he gave up 1 run. So he's got his ERA down to 2.63, even with that blow up in San Diego. And I think that he could give us some help, not just in the playoffs, but for the remainder of this regular season as well. But I think Bridges is right. If he can come in and give us 4 or 5 innings, bullpen ready and alert, some long relief, just play a role. He's 36 years old. He's far removed from the dominant pitcher he once was. He's still a very smart pitcher. He can still get people out. He's still going to be subjected to some home runs here. And the further you get into the playoffs, where you've got top tier offensive lineups that are looking to ambush, and someone like Kershaw who likes to get ahead of batters in the count, teams like to ambush him as a result of that. So he's going to have to continue to work on that. He's going to have to continue to maybe try to trick them out the gate. You got a bunch of guys up there, a bunch of Corey Seager's up there looking to chuck at the first pitch he throws, right? And looking to ambush him. So he may have to change up his approach a little bit and try to get a little creative out there and keep them off balance and not have them just looking for that first pitch to knock it out of there. Craig says if Miller didn't pitch, they would have swept. Yeah, Bobby Miller and Walker Buehler both coming off the injury list, both returning to not great results. Those guys, man, it sucks because we're going to definitely need at some point to count on them and rely on them to kind of rest some of these arms, man. I think the Tyler Glasnow situation is a combination of preserving him and letting him rest up at the same time. Maybe he does have something ailing, but I think the main reason behind that is to make sure that he is ready come playoff time and that he is going to be at his best. He's already up there in innings. He's having a Cy Young capable season, but you got to make sure he's able to pitch in the playoffs. And the fact that this is his first year as an all-star, even in that is crazy, right? So the injury history of Tyler Glasnow is well documented. You guys don't need me to go too heavily into that. However, I think the Dodgers are smart by trying to keep him ready to be able to withstand this season. And then, you got Yamamoto coming back. You're going to get Glasnow coming back. You've got Kershaw back. You got Buehler and Miller back. We don't know what we're going to get from them. We're going to see them some more times. We're going to have to wait and see on that. But you got Brazier back. You're getting these guys back, impact players back, impact arms, impact bats. You got an impact glove in Kiermaier, who's had some impact at bats. So there's a lot of guys that are contributing to this team right now, and the team needs it every step of the way. BC says Kershaw is pitching until he's in his 40s. Here's the thing. Because he's not a power pitcher, he's always been kind of a finesse pitcher. He's always been kind of I don't want to call him Maddox-ish, like a southpaw Maddox. He doesn't rely on high velocity. He doesn't rely on a lot of things that a lot of these pitchers have for the bulk of their career. So I could see his career going a ways, but he's got to be able to get out. So I don't see Kershaw as a guy that's going to go out there and be like a Bartolo Colon or one of these guys who's going to get out there and be a 5th starter for 4 or 5 years and just kind of hang around the league. I think he's got other things. He's made a ton of money. He's got a legacy. I do think that he's got some things he wants to do after baseball, obviously spending more time with his family, probably moving back to Texas. He's a very charitable guy, high-level philanthropist. I can see him getting involved in a lot of things after baseball that he may look to start early on and may not want to go another 4 or 5 years in baseball at subpar level of play, just hanging on trying to win something. I don't see Kershaw doing that. Now, could he? Yeah, he could probably pitch at a level where he would be decent as a 4 or 5 starter for years to come. But I don't think he's going to be comfortable doing that, being a guy who's been a frontline starter the bulk of his career, even if it's for the Dodgers and the World Series candidates for the next 4 or 5 years. I don't know if he's gonna do that, in my opinion. Bridget says 2.63 ERA at this age is insane. It is, especially after everyone pretty much gave up on him after that after that San Diego game. I was seeing a bunch of people like just throw their hands up, a bunch of people just being tired of him, a bunch of people saying, when is he going to be gone? Just retire already. We're getting a lot of that kind of like Lakerish negativity bleeding into Dodger Nation here. A lot of people have crossed over, right? And you're getting that kind of Laker freak outness, some of that toxicness over. But at the same time, like baseball is a different sport. Baseball is a different animal. You could have the best 3 months of your major league career followed up by the worst 3 months of your major league career. Like that can happen in an instant in baseball, and it's not uncommon. So to see Kershaw being great right now doesn't mean that he's not going to fall apart again. And if he falls apart again, it doesn't mean that he can't put it back together again. You get what I'm saying? BC says last time Kershaw missed first half of a season was 2020 and they won the World Series. That is a fact. And that is a fact. And he also had 2 good performances in that World Series. So we're going to touch on some of that. We're going to touch on some of his failures. We're going to touch on his successes because he's had a lot of both. He's rested for the end of the playoffs. Yep, that's facts. Bridges says, was really excited about River Ryan. What's with our pitchers being so fragile? Yeah, River Ryan was looking like a guy that was going to be able to be a guy that came in. Gavin Stone has come up and showed us something. He's come up and done things and, took kind of the league by storm, man. And then that play that he made, let me see here. 1 second. Sorry about that. He kind of just came in and just kind of took the league by storm a little bit there. That play he made on that little dribbler up the third base line was just incredible. And that's the game he got hurt. So you saw that type of athleticism from the pitching position while he was just out there dealing against people, going in and getting that win in Houston, in the Astrodome, after the Dodgers had lost the first 2 in that series, coming in and just being dominant at times, like for a young guy there. This guy now, and it sucks because not only is he out for the rest of this season, but he's out for all of next season, which makes it difficult, man, because that's a guy we were going to be counting on. We were going to be counting, on potentially a Dustin May. And these arms, we're going to be counted on. Bazooka still hasn't, he came back and hurt his hamstring immediately. I think we're going to get him back. But, the arms have gone through it this year. The arms have gone through it, but we've had some guys step up, and we definitely have found our closer now in Kopech. So he's going to probably be in the right role now, and then we're going to, continue to go from there. Let's see. Bridges says BC facts injury may actually be a blessing. He's rested going to the playoffs. Yes, sir. Chris says Kershaw is Wolverine, a Dodge until he's 90. Yeah, that'll be crazy. I don't think we're gonna see like a LeBron James, Clayton Kershaw arc here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see that in his personality. I guess is what I'm saying. I don't see him as a guy that's just going to hang around Major League Baseball. I think he's got other things he wants to do outside of baseball. Bridges says baseball is so up and down. You really got to be patient and expect plenty of downs. Yeah, that's the thing, man. In baseball, if you're a player who is successful, only 30% of the time that you're like a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? That it's not many other sports you can find, or any sport that you can see someone who's successful 30% of the time and be considered like all worldly. Like that just doesn't really happen in any other sport. So baseball will humble you in a second. It can make a star out of you a second. It can humble you in a second. And that's one of the main reasons I love the game so much, man. Court Kings Chris says, like you always say, EmpireJeffTV, baseball humbles you quick. Remember a couple of years back, the Dodgers lost like 10 in a row. Close to the playoffs. Yeah. And it's funny. I just said that as you were typing it. You're right. And that's what happened in 2017 when they were taking the league by storm. They were just destroying everything. They hit a whole stretch of a whole month, I believe in August, where they were just horrible. Right. But they built up the lead so much in their division in the league that it didn't hurt them. And so they've had stretches this season where they did not look great coming out of the All-Star break. They didn't look great going into the All-Star break. They're not at their best right now. They're not playing great right now. But they're doing enough. They've got enough talent to win. And I think this team is going to continue to grow. I think continue to come together. They got a lot of leaders on this team. Their first 3, when they're locked in and got it going, are the best in baseball in Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. And, you get Yamamoto back. You get Glasnow back, right? Like I said, you already got Kershaw back. If just one of the two of Buehler and Miller can somehow figure it out, that's a lot to ask. I get it. But a lot of these things can lead to something special, man. BC says Kershaw is timeless. Baseball used to have dynasties as often as basketball. They did. The baseball dynasties are a little bit like differently now. Different now. Here's the thing. I think the Dodgers might be on the cusp of one here. I think the Dodgers might be on the cusp of one. We'll see what the Yankees can continue to build over there and see what they become over there. Man, I really, really thought that Atlanta was going to be that team over the next 5 years. When we beat them in 2020, I really thought Atlanta was going to be the team. We're going to have to battle every single year. This is a team that's going to be just kicking our butts. This is going to be a team that's going to be getting all these players. They kept all their players, signed all their players long term. Their ownership is ran right. Their front office is ran right. Their team is ran right. Everything about them just spells like danger, right? And then you had Cohen buying the Mets and then adding what they thought was an adequate front office. And you thought, okay, there's another major money team, the top pockets in baseball. If he can just get the organization ran right over there, they're going to be a powerhouse. You got the Yankees. The Phillies are spending a ton of money, and they're looking to be very, very good, right? And you already got the Dodgers, right? You had the Padres out there just gambling on everything under the sun. I'm like, okay, at some point, maybe they break through, right? And then, all of a sudden, you just see these teams, the Texas Rangers, right? You had the Houston Astros, just ALCS year after year after year. Years they cheated, years they didn't. You know what I mean? But you got a lot of these teams that are just on the cusp constantly, right? Then you got these one-off World Series. You got the Washington Nationals, right? You've got these teams that can just come out of nowhere and beat you in baseball. And this season is just absolutely nuts. Let me find this tweet that Jeff Passan did yesterday. Let me find it, because I thought it was ridiculous. This tweet was absolutely ridiculous. So he's got this here. So this is shaping up to be this is Jeff Passan saying this here, right? So this is shaping up to be the weirdest baseball season in a decade. With 6 weeks left, here are the dozen best records in the MLB. Okay, these are the dozen best records within the MLB right now. Okay. And that is, we got the Phillies at 73-51, Dodgers at 73-52, Orioles 73-52, Yankees 73-52, Guardians 73-52, Brewers, Guardians 72-52, Brewers 72-52, Twins 70-54, Padres 70-55, Royals 69-55, D-backs 69-56, Astros 67-56, Braves 66-58. And the best run differentials here is nuts, because it's lower than we've seen in about 10 years. So Yankees are the highest run differential in the league. I'm not going to read through this whole list, but the Yankees at a plus 16 as the highest run differential. That's like half of what it was about a year ago, which is plus 231, which is absolutely nuts. The best team in the MLB is on pace to win 95 games. The last year, a team without 100 wins was 2014. So it's just nuts when you had a team that, he also goes on to say, all of which to say a year after a 90-win wild card team faced an 86-win wild card team in the World Series last year with the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. So when you kind of throw that all together, those stats kind of just jumble up there. You just kind of mix all up into describing baseball. And this season, you have so many teams playing for a wild card throughout this season, right? And you have so many teams that can win a World Series. If you go through that list one more time, I don't think you'd be foolish enough to think that the Phillies can win the World Series. The Dodgers could win the World Series. The Orioles could win the World Series. The Yankees, Guardians, all could win the World Series. Now, Brewers, probably not. Yelich is out of there. Their record is probably going to fall back. Twins, probably not. Their record is strong, but their pitching is weak. Padres, as much as we love the Fraudres, I mean, they're on a heater. Could they ride it all the way out? Maybe. They're trending in the right direction. Strong bullpen. They can get their starting pitching back on track. Their hitting has been taken off. They're a threat. They've got potential here. Royals, probably not. D-backs went there last year. They score a whole bunch of runs. I don't know if they're going to have enough. Astros, it seems like you can never, ever count them out. And like I said, the Braves were a team that I would never count out. But Austin Riley came out today. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. So he doesn't even come back unless they make the playoffs. And at this point, the way the Mets have been playing and the Braves haven't really hit their stride, but we thought they were going to. Now losing Riley after everything that they've lost, you kind of feel that it's crazy that the Mets, even though they the way they started this season, that the Mets might be the favorites in the National League to get that final wild card spot is crazy right now. But it kind of sucks what Atlanta is going through right now. Let's see. Let's get back to BC says 90s Jays, 90s Yankees, 70 Reds, O's Red Sox, 70s A's. Yeah, really hasn't been like I said. You got a peak of it, right? Like that Royals team in the early 2000 teens, right? You know they weren't gonna be able to spend the money to keep them together. The Tampa Bay Rays were never able to keep anyone together. The Giants kind of had a dynasty. I think you got to give them their run. The Mad Bum teams. I think you got to give them their due there. As much as I hate to say that, I think we got to be real with ourselves and admit that. Bridges says, it's crazy to me. Before, you would never see someone hitting less than 220. Now it seems like every team has a few guys under 200. Yeah, it's because they're chasing the long ball. They're chasing the launch angle. They're chasing all that. It's a different league right now. You got to hit for power, not for average. And if you can hit for power with average, then you're just special, right? So that's why when Shohei was north of 300 all year, at some point, because he's out there just trying to hit everything out of there, that at some point that average was going to take a hit as a result of that. And right now it is. He's in a super slump outside of hitting home runs. I think his last 5 hits over his last 60 maybe at bats have all been home runs. So until Shohei starts trying to put the ball on the ground, until he starts to line the ball a little bit more, I think this is what we're going to continue to see. BC says, last one was the 210 Giants, although some people consider Trash Trolls one. Yeah, so I said that. The Giants, the Astros won 2 World Series. They've been in the ALCS year after year after year. I hate to say it. I don't want to give them any credit, but if I'm trying to be realistic here, you kind of got to. And while they didn't win as much as the Giants, they won the second most in the Giants in that stretch. And I think you got to put them on the cusp of it. See what they do this year. Bridges says Dodgers and Yankees dynasties for the next decade would be so fun. Yeah, them matching up any type of like Dodgers, Yankees World Series. Like if we get them faced up in a World Series twice in the next 5 years, that would be so incredible for baseball, man. That would be incredible. If you get the Mets back up there doing some things, and you got Dodgers, Mets, you got Yankees, if the Red Sox can get their act together. If you could get Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants, if you can get all these rivalries just back, you already got a lot of people tuning into baseball more than a long time. I think these playoffs have potential to have the most fireworks and the most craziness of any playoff that we have seen probably the last 10 years or so. When I went over all those stats, I went over all those numbers, I went over all those records. What makes you believe that anyone that gets in this wild card round cannot win a World Series? They absolutely can. To be honest with you, if I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys, I'm almost feeling like I'd rather the Dodgers get in on a wild card or skip the bye week, because the last 2 years that bye week has meant bye to the Los Angeles Dodgers. You can't have a baseball team who went all season, sit 11 of 13 games and be in rhythm. Baseball is a rhythm sport, and that team that sits out that first round is at a major disadvantage. And the Dodgers, Yankees, all those other guys, Orioles, you had a lot of teams who that took effect on. So I'm almost to the point where I'm like, yo, it might be better for the Dodgers to not get the top record in the NL because if they can skip that bye, I think that would be I think that might be a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you, man. Let's see. Craig says baseball pay scale has gone up. Hard to keep same players year after year. It has gone up. It is hard to keep them up. They don't have the salary cap, but they do have the tax. And some of these teams have the money. A lot of Major League Baseball owners have money. A lot of Major League Baseball owners have the same tools and the same could use the same strategies, the deferrals, all the stuff that the Dodgers do. They just don't, right? They could. Hey, Reg, what's going on, my brother Reg? Salute to you, man. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Make sure to go check out the Locker Room over there where Reggie covers mostly NBA and the Lakers, but he covers all kinds of different topics. He's done a couple Dodger-related videos as well. So make sure to go to support Reg. I see you, brother. Appreciate you for tuning in. Daniel Berry says, should sweep Seattle and Tampa. So Seattle has been like their ERA is solid, right? And they've been scoring, a lot of runs. So they should sweep them, and they've kind of been in a rut. So if them in Tampa Bay, if they don't come out of this I mean, the worst they should be is 4-2. That's the absolute worst they should be after this stretch. My record when I stream, they lose. I streamed all 3 games in the St. Louis series on playback. Make sure to join my playback, man. I put it in the chat. Playback.tv/EmpireJeffTV. You get to watch the Dodger games with us for free when I cover them over there. I did all 3 games over the weekend. I might do tonight. I got to see what my schedule ends up turning into. But at the very least, join the room. Playback.tv/EmpireJeffTV. I put it in the chat. Go ahead and join the room over there. You get to watch free NBA, free MLB over there when you pull up while I'm streaming over there. Everyone's saying, what's up to people? BC said, Red Sox already have 4 World Series in the last 20 years. You want them to get going? How much do they need to embarrass everyone else? I don't want them to get going. I don't want them to win. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel baseball is better when the Red Sox and Yankees rivalry matters, when the Dodgers and Giants rivalry matters. I think the league is just better. You know, when you got the NL East and the NL West, when you got the Phillies, Braves, Mets, and all that going, you got the Dodgers, you got the Giants, Padres, Diamondbacks. When you got the Yankees, you got the Red Sox, the Orioles. Like when you got all that going, it just piques more interest. And I just want more interest on the sport of baseball. That's all. But in the meantime, let's go on and go over some of these things because I want to stick to the topic of the video for a second here because Clayton Kershaw, kind of, you know, he's gotten dinged. You know, he definitely gets dinged for his playoff performances here. But at the same time, I want to be, his ERA for the playoffs, you know, is nothing to write home about. 4.49 ERA in the playoffs. Okay. He's got a record of 13-13 in the playoffs. Again, not fantastic. Okay. But there's some good and there's some bad in here. This is kind of telling the whole story, right? He also has had some great moments though, but because most people want to harp on the bad, and that's probably at the tip of their tongue. Let's go ahead and go over some of these real quick. Okay. So some of the worst moments here, I've got to, these are probably the best 7 that you could really chalk up to being his worst playoff performances. And one of the ones that kind of really have people who answer no to my question is, can he still help the Dodgers in this postseason? And these right here are probably going to be the main reason why why a lot of these people say no. And then I'm going to hit them. This is the negative, and then I'm going to hit them with the positive as well. DJ, I see you, brother. DJ from Lakers in 5. Salute to you, brother. Make sure to pull up over there, DJ. Subscribe to his channel. Great channel. Good dude. Great content. Make sure to go subscribe to Lakers in 5. Appreciate you, brother. But let's talk about this for a second, okay? So some of y'all maybe remember kind of the recent ones. I'm gonna take us back to 2013. Okay, I'm gonna take us back to 2013, Game 6 versus the Cardinals. Okay. In a potential elimination game, this is where Kershaw gave up 7 runs. 4 of them were earned in just 4 innings, and the Dodgers lost 9-0 to the Cardinals, eliminating them from the postseason. Kershaw's struggles were a major factor in the loss of that series. Okay, this is the point you're going to see a trend here because this is where the Cardinals were really, really year after year giving the Dodgers problems, just year after year. Okay, 2014 NLDS Game 1 versus the Cardinals. Kershaw seemed dominant through 6 innings. This is the one where I didn't fully blame him. He was killing them for 6 innings. He was keeping them at bay. You could almost see it coming. He should have never went out there in the 7th inning of this game, but he did in Game 1. And he kind of unraveled in the 7th inning. He allowed 6 runs in that inning, including a 3-run home run by Matt Carpenter, who was killing us in that series. The Dodgers lost the game 10-9, despite Kershaw's early brilliance in that game. That 6-run inning killed him. Okay. Now, while he gave up those 6 runs, he should not have gone on there in the 7th inning. Would have been my point, because after the year before, this is when we were kind of starting to see that Kershaw, the data and everything was kind of stating and showing that if he went to a certain point in the game, that it was going to be problematic. And they sent him out there in that 7th inning and basically set him up to fail there. And that one, while is a stain, I don't put that one on him. I put that one on the organization. Now we're going to go to Game 4 of that same series versus the Cardinals in another elimination game like 2013 was. Kershaw was again defeated by the Cardinals, giving up 3-run home run to Matt Adams in the 7th inning. All right. And the Dodgers were eliminated after Kershaw gave up this key late home run in the game, and they lost 3-2. Okay. So that was just a blow, just completely got knocked out of the playoffs essentially by that Matt Adams home run in the 7th inning. Okay. But again, there's a theme here. 7th inning. Okay. Now he Only gave up 3 runs in that game, and they lost 3-2. But that home run stained him. But again, 7th inning. Should not have been in there at that time, even though he was pretty brilliant in that game. They lost 3-2 on a 7th inning bomb, okay? Now, skip a couple years to 2016 NLCS Game 6 versus the Cubs. With the Dodgers facing elimination, Kershaw, he got absolutely rocked by the Cubs. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings, including 2 home runs. The Cubs won the game 5-0, advancing to the World Series in 2016. So this was an elimination game. So here we go again, right? These are elimination games. 2013, 2014, 2016, when Kershaw basically on the mound for an elimination game, and the Dodgers got eliminated in these games. So this is where I think it's not necessarily just the stats of what happened in these games. I think the fact that these were elimination games just pile on, while a few of these I don't blame him for. I really don't blame him. And 2017 World Series Game 5 versus the Astros, okay? Kershaw started strong, but the Astros mounted multiple comebacks in this game. And Kershaw gave up 6 runs over 4 2/3 innings, including a key home run to Gurriel, who was struggling at that time. They was going through the whole thing where he was mocking Yu Darvish, and he was kind of struggling. He hadn't got going yet, and he gives up that home run and just unlocks him. The game turned into a slugfest, and the Dodgers lost 13-12 in the extra innings. That was that classic game. And I always felt in that game, whoever won that game was going to win the World Series that year in 2017. Kershaw was on the mound. And that was a game the Dodgers as a team absolutely had to win. But Kershaw only gave up 4 of those 13 runs, and he kind of gets blamed for that game as well. But that one wasn't entirely his fault either. At the same time, he did give up those 4 runs. But you see the theme here. This was a lot of things that went wrong in these games. The 2018 World Series Game 5 versus the Red Sox. Game 5. Infamous. This Game 5. After was it Game 4, the Puig game, or was it the Game 3 where 3 or 4 where they just the debacle of the Red Sox coming all the way back. So in 2018, it was a winner go home game for the Dodgers. Kershaw gave up 4 runs, including 2 home runs in 7 innings. The Dodgers lost 5-1 to the Red Sox, and the Red Sox won the World Series. Kershaw postseason reputation took another hit as he failed to deliver in a crucial moment, once again in a closeout game. So the narratives here, as you continue to go down the road here, is you may not want this guy pitching for in a closeout game. You may not want him in a closeout game. He's had decent game 1s, pretty strong game 1s. But you probably don't want him in a closeout game. And you didn't want him in a closeout game at what seemed to be his peak, let alone at this point of his career, right? Now this one, which I was at this game, still drives me nuts. I went to every game of that series at Dodger Stadium. Still drives me nuts to this day. 2019 NLDS Game 5 versus the Nationals. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that game? Y'all remember that game? I remember being at that game. I remember how excited the stadium was. I remember how wild that stadium was. I remember how rocking that stadium was. We were ready. We're like, yo, we're about to go to our 3rd straight World Series, son. Like, we're about to do this. 2019. And then Game 5 comes around. And we were winning. We had control of that game. And this was one of the most painful moments of Kershaw's playoff career. Because after he was being brought in from the bullpen with a 3-1 lead, God, I could still hear the crowd. Kershaw allowed back-to-back home runs to Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto. Rendon and Soto to tie the game. The Dodgers went on to lose in extra innings, once again in a closeout game, elimination game, being eliminated from the playoffs. I was sitting right there as a fan walked up to the field and threw his Kershaw jersey on the field in a post that went viral. I'm in the video. Like, I was there when that happened. And that was probably the hardest one of them all. One, because I was there. I thought that we had a great chance to win the World Series that year. I felt that, we at very least we were going to get to our 3rd straight World Series. That one hurt. That one hurt. And these instances has fueled criticism that despite Kershaw's Hall of Fame regular season career, his postseason performances often fell short at crucial moments. And, however, he did help them win the 2020 World Series, which helped improved his postseason legacy slightly. And we're going to talk about those for a second. But we talked about those. Do you guys remember those games? How many of you guys watched those games live during that stretch? Bridges says the Dodgers struggled to put together a trustworthy bullpen has always been an issue. That's a fact, Bridges. Craig says too much analytics. Okay for regular season, don't work for postseasons. This I agree. Ask Bruce Bochy. He adjusts for World Series. Other managers don't because the front office is still making decisions. This I agree with. Howie Kendrick. Yeah, Howie Kendrick killed us in that series, man. In that game, sorry. And Joe Kelly. Yeah, Joe Kelly killed us in 2018. And then we got him in 2019. Yeah. But yeah, Howie Kendrick. Good old Howie Kendrick went in and did his thing. But now we went ahead and we bashed him, right? We took it all the way back to 2013 on him, all the way up to 2019. We're going to go back to 2013 because what helped us get to the Cardinals in 2013 was his performance against the Atlanta Braves in game 1 of the 2013 NLDS. Kershaw was dominant in this game, striking out 12 batters over 7 innings and allowing just one run on 3 hits. And the Dodgers won 6-1, giving them a strong start to that series. Okay. So we entered the playoffs on his arm. We went out on his arm. Okay. So there's that game. He was absolutely dominant in that game. Let's go to the Mets series in 2015. Okay. We were facing elimination in this game, right? We talk about all the games he's kind of fallen apart in elimination. This game was not one of those. So facing elimination, Kershaw delivered a clutch performance with 8 innings of 3-hit ball, allowing just 1 run while striking out 8, and the Dodgers won 3-1, forcing a game 5. He did his part in that series. Okay. Now let's go to 2016 NLDS game 5 versus the Nationals. I remember this game. This game was great. He didn't start that game. I remember that was at Barney's Beanery in Burbank. I was wilding out to this game, pitcher after pitcher after pitcher. And I'm not talking on the mound, man, of that. That game was incredible. And he didn't start that game. He made that memorable appearance in the 9th inning on just 1 day's rest. Okay. He got the final 2 outs to seal that 4-3 victory, sending the Dodgers to the NLCS. This showcased Kershaw's versatility and willingness to do whatever it takes to help his team win. All right. 1 day's rest. Came out of the pen. Got it done. Y'all remember that game? Y'all remember that game? That game was crazy. I'm telling you, that bar was crazy popping when I was out there watching it that game. Man, that was incredible. Incredible. So that's 2016. 2017 NLCS game 5 versus the Cubs. Now, this was a series clinching game. He was brilliant. 6 innings, 1-run ball, striking out 5, and the Dodgers won 11-1, advancing to the World Series for the first time since 1988. There's an elimination game that he got us through and got us to the World Series. Okay, let's go to 2020, okay, because we win a World Series in 2020, and I got some games here for you. I've got some games here for you for Kershaw in 2020 because he did some great things in 2020. You can talk about all the years we didn't win and throw him into that mix, but the year that we did win, we're going to get some bullet points of Kershaw here. 2020 NLDS game 2 versus the Padres. Kind of turned back the clock a little bit with a vintage performance. Struck out 6, over 6. 3 runs wasn't necessarily vintage, but he showed up big in a moment. The Dodgers won 6-5, taking a commanding 2-0 lead over the Padres in 2020. Okay. Now we're going to go to 2020 World Series game 1 versus the Rays. He set the tone for the whole series in the World Series in this opener. Struck out 8 batters over 6 innings. Again, 6 innings. Allowing just 1 run. The Dodgers won 8-3. And Kershaw's performance was key in giving them an early advantage in this series. He faced Glasnow in that game. Set the tone for that series. Opened it up. Now we get the 2020 World Series game 5. This is a pivotal game. He delivered another strong outing. 5-2 third innings, 2 runs, struck out 6. The Dodgers won 4-2, putting them 1 win away from the title. Kershaw's efforts in both game 1 and 5 were crucial for the Dodgers winning their first World Series since 1988. Shout out Kershaw, man. All right, so you could sit up here and talk about how he's hurt us at times, and you can talk about how he's helped us at times. He helped us get to and win a World Series. He's helped us in many of other years, but he's also been on the mound when we've been eliminated. This is why his record is 13-13, and he's got an ERA north of 4 in the playoffs. So when you look at it from a 35,000 foot view, you look at him like, man, nah. But you look at some of the accomplishments he has. And like I said, his playoff stats are nothing that you want to brag about, but he has had those moments. We can't sit up here and act like he's had no moments in the playoffs. You can't sit here and act. I mean, look, this is a 3-time Cy Young Award winner in 2011, 2013, 2014. In 2014, he won the Cy Young and the MVP. He's a 9-time All-Star, 5-time ERA title winner, World Series champion, won a Gold Glove in 2011. Like he won the pitching Triple Crown in 2011. Like he's been incredible at times, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. BC says 30.2 innings in 2020, 2.93 ERA. Talk to him, BC. Talk to him. And again, I'm not up here to act like he doesn't deserve criticism, and I'm not up here trying to act like he doesn't deserve his share of blame. I'm not going to sit up here and act like he can't be held accountable. I'm not going to sit up here and act like he couldn't have been better in moments. I'm not going to say that. But I'm also not going to sit up here and act like he's not the best pitcher I've seen in my lifetime on the Dodgers, or just in general. He's the best pitcher of his generation. Now, it didn't always get us to where we needed to get to. Didn't always lead to a World Series. Didn't always lead to the promised land. But this is a team sport. Your team need to score runs. Your bullpen needs to back you up. Your managers need to be competent. Your front office needs to be competent. Luck has to go your way. Injuries have to go your way. All these things matter in baseball. All these things matter in baseball. That was Randy Johnson circa 2001 World Series 7-esque. Yep. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just think it's unfair to just act like the dude's a bum. And people are so quick to be like, get him off the roster, retire. Well, if he's retired, those last 3 games he helped us win, we probably don't get. Like, I think people need to respect Kershaw a little bit, man. And I think they do. I think they respect his career. I think they respect his accolades. But I think that they sit up here and act like, and they want to tell you that he's never had a decent moment in the playoffs. And that's foolish. That's ridiculous. It's just not true. It's just not true. The man has had his moments, both good and bad. It just is what it is. But I think, and this is just one man's opinions on sports, just my humble opinion, I think that Kershaw's going to get us a win in the playoffs. I think he's going to have a performance 4 or 5 innings deep, holds it down. Not going to say he's going to throw a shutout or strike out 8. Have a performance that's maybe 3 runs or below. Set it up for the pen and give us a chance to win a playoff game. I think it's possible. So that's just where I'm at with it. Just wanted to jump on here. Had some time today, earlier on a Monday. I might pop back up later to do Dodgers pregame. I'm not sure if I'm doing the game live today. I got to see what my schedule, what happens the next 2 hours or so. I'll know. I may even go to the game. That's why I don't know yet. I may go to the game. I may work the game. I may do neither. I don't know yet. I got to see how my day persists here, how it progresses. But at the end of the day, Dodgers got the Seattle Mariners coming in, followed by the Tampa Bay Rays. This is a good stretch at home for the Dodgers to get some more separation, get some wins, get some guys back healthy. Today is Max Muncy Day. He gets back on the field today. We got Emid coming back soon. I'm excited for this pennant race. I'm excited to see where these teams end up, where this all lands. And I'm excited to get back to doing regular Dodger coverage with you guys here. So been kind of off the grid for the last couple of weeks, slowly making my way back. I'll have some Laker videos coming soon. Not a lot to talk about there, and I just don't want to do the click stuff. So when there's something to talk about, I'll talk about it. I've got a video coming up soon, a couple of them that doesn't pertain to rumors or anything like that, just topics of conversation that I'm working on. That I'm going to have some guests on. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Monday. Hope to talk to you guys later tonight. If not, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Go Dodgers. Y'all be safe. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in. Drop a like on the video if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I also want to mention real quick, you can also get your MLB, NBA, and NFL gear now at our link, which is posted in the chat. Make sure to use our link to get special discounts, and your purchases also go towards helping the channel, because the good people at Fanatics who we have partnered with will donate a portion of those sales to the channel. And make sure to join our playback channel at playback.tv/EmpireJeffTV. And you can watch the Dodger games with us for free when we stream them. So y'all have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate y'all. Go Dodgers.